Kapila did something that very few D2C brands ever achieve. She launched a brand by the name Underneath in April 25, which just hit 150 crores ARR in the last 8 months. And they did it all while being profitable from the first day. The reason why this is so significant is that brands like Mamaearth took 7 years to get profitable and Sugar is still burning cash. And no, this is not just another influencer brand story. Because if it were, we'd have 500 other influencers doing 150 crores, but we don't. Underneath cracked these 4 things in the market at the right time. And the 4th one is the reason why they did all of it profitably. So let's start with the first insight. Underneath understood something that most of us fail to see. We often hear people saying that the market is too crowded or saturated. And if we had built something a few years ago, it would have worked out. But that's not true at all. There's a pattern in how every market evolves. And once you understand this pattern, you'll start seeing opportunities everywhere. It all happens in stages. Stage 1. The market is completely unorganized and fragmented with no big player yet. Hundreds of small players, nobody knows who's who. Think about e-commerce in the early 2000s in India. Complete chaos. Stage 2. The big player enters. Amazon, Flipkart, they organize the market and they bring trust, scale and structure to the entire market. Stage 3. Under these big organized players, smaller, specialized players emerge. Myntra comes in for fashion. Nykaa sets up shop for beauty. They're thinking, okay, Amazon and Flipkart did the heavy lifting of building trust in online shopping. Now we're going to dominate specific categories within that. Stage 4. This is where D2C brands explode. Mamaearth for toxin-free personal care. Minimalist for science-backed skincare. These brands are going even deeper. They're not just picking a category, they're picking specific problems within the category and building entire brands around solving them. Before Underneath entered the market, there were players like SarvamAI and Clovia, which are already serving the innerwear needs of women. The category existed, the products existed, but this is what most people ignore. There are still massive white spaces in niche markets where big players simply cannot compete. Not because problems aren't real or the market doesn't exist, but because a brand doing 1 lakh crores spending resources on a 500 crore opportunity doesn't make strategic sense. The opportunity cost is too high. But for a D2C brand, starting from zero, that 500 crore opportunity is everything. Now here's the thing about identifying these white spaces. It's not something you figure out in isolation. You need to be in rooms where operators who've scaled brands from zero to hundreds of crores are breaking down these exact patterns, which is exactly what we do at GrowthX. Our community has founders and operators from brands like Lenskart, Zepto, and Grow, alongside legacy tech companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Apple. People who've spotted these opportunities early and built around them. If you're serious about finding your own white space, check out the link in the description. So, the category insight told us where to build. Now let's talk about what to build. 80% of the women in India wear the wrong size. Not because they're measured wrong, but because every size chart on Flipkart, Myntra, Amazon is based on US or UK body measurements. India has never had dedicated sizing standard for innerwear. The entire apparel industry just copies and pastes Western size charts. Extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. Designed for completely different body proportions. Indian women have different torso lengths, different waist to hip ratios, different body diversity altogether. But then, before launching, Underneath did something no other brand had done. They interviewed 12,000 Indian women to understand what their bodies actually needed. And here's what they found. First, sizing had to start where Indian bodies start. Skims, the billion-dollar American shapewear brand, starts their sizing at 73 centimeters waist. Underneath starts at 60 centimeters. They built an inclusive range from extra small to double extra large that actually accommodates the diversity of Indian bodies. Second, they designed for Indian clothing. Western shapewear is built for bodycon dresses and other fitted apparel. But Indian women wear saris, lehengas and high-waist ethnic wear. So Underneath created high-waist shorts and cuts that work with what Indian women actually wear. Third, they chose materials for the Indian climate. Western shapewear uses aggressive compression fabrics designed for air-conditioned offices, let's say in New York. Underneath uses breathable Sensel yarn from Germany that actually works in Indian heat and humidity. And fourth, Western shapewear compresses your body by 30 to 40%. It reshapes you aggressively. Underneath focuses on 10 to 15% subtle support. It's not about changing your body, it's about supporting it. But at times even the most well-engineered products means nothing if nobody talks about it. Because let's be honest, most products don't fail because they're bad. They fail because no one knew they existed, or worse, no one understood why they were different. That's where Underneath's GTM strategy changed the game. Before we get into how they went into market, let's talk about the team that pulled this off. Vimarsh, who is the co-founder of Underneath, has over 20 years of experience in fashion retail. He understands supply chains, manufacturing, and how to actually build products at scale. Then there is Ghazal Alag as the mentor and early investor. Someone who's literally built one of India's biggest D2C brands from scratch and knows exactly how the game is played. And of course, there's Kusha with her massive social following and authentic voice. They understood something crucial about the market that nobody else saw. See, in India, innerwear is a taboo topic. Women don't talk about it openly. Existing brands advertise them either in a super clinical way or a weird sexualized way. There's no middle ground. And this is exactly where Kusha decided to play. 6 months before the product even launched, she started an Instagram series called What Are You Wearing Under? And she just talked about it openly, authentically, like a friend having a conversation. She discussed the problems women face with innerwear, the discomfort, the wrong sizing, the lack of options, the things women Google at 2 a.m. but never talk about it out loud. And every single piece of content, it educated millions of women about innerwear that actually works for them. And in marketing, we call this the 5 light bulb framework. First is where you talk about the actual problem and make people realize, oh wow, this is a problem I'm facing. Second, try the available solutions, show people that everything that's already out there doesn't work. Third, discuss the possibility of, hey, what if there was a better way? Fourth, present your solution. This is where your product comes in as the answer to everything you've been building up. And last is the launch. By now, the market is ready. They've been waiting for you. By the time Underneath launched, women weren't discovering a new brand. They were finally getting access to a solution that they had been educated about for months. Now, here's the important thing to understand. Education builds demand, but demand alone doesn't build a business. You can have the right message, the right story, even the right timing. But if you show up in the wrong place at the wrong moment, you still lose. Which brings us to our last insight, the marketplace insight. Underneath didn't start with listing on every marketplace on day one. Instead, they launched exclusively on their own website first. Now, mind you, when you launch your brand, your first 100 customers are the most valuable customers you will ever have in your business. Not because they'll spend the most money, but because you need to know who they are, what they bought, why did they buy it, what problems are they solving? When you directly launch in a marketplace like Amazon or Flipkart, you lose all of that data. It all goes to them, not to you. Underneath wanted to own that relationship from the first day, build their own customer data and understand their audience deeply before going anywhere else. Then came the marketplace expansion. But not just any marketplace. They chose Myntra and Nykaa. Not Amazon, not Flipkart. And here's why. A majority of users on Myntra and Nykaa are women. That's their core audience. That's where the customer is already shopping for fashion and beauty. Amazon and Flipkart, the majority of male users browse electronics and gadgets. Why would an innerwear brand built specifically for women launch where men are doing most of the shopping? Know where your customer actually shops, not where you think they should shop. And then came the genius move, quick commerce. Blinkit, Zepto, Swiggy, Instamart. Think about this. A woman is getting ready for a wedding. It's in 3 hours. She's trying on outfits and something doesn't feel right. The innerwear isn't working and she's not feeling confident. That impulse moment, that I need this right now feeling. She is not going to wait 2 days for the delivery. She is willing to pay extra for that 10-minute delivery because the occasion matters more than the price. And that's when Underneath shows up on Blinkit. Problem solved in 10 minutes. Underneath cracked 4 fundamental insights. 1. Find the white space big players can't chase. Build for your actual customer's body and needs. Educate before you sell and be where your customer shops when they're ready to buy. 150 crores in 8 months isn't influencer magic. It's understanding your category, your product, your customer, and your distribution better than anyone else in the market. Let us know in the comment section which other brands you'd like us to break down for you, and we'll see you in the next one.